Hi, this is Jim with ProfitTrading.com. We're going to take a look at the stock market here real quick. This is the SPY, that's the S&P 500 ETF. Now the S&P made a high, has come down, and it's testing that high. It could make a lower high. It could continue up and make a new high. Either way, I think a top is coming in for the S&P, where it gets major resistance, which I've showed in some past videos. We're up against all-time highs. You can see the MACD is making a bearish divergence if any new price high comes in. Now here's something interesting on Fibonacci for people that like to follow Fibonacci. Usually you look for 0.618 retracements, but I've noticed that when these stocks come in, or any market comes in and makes a lower high, when it's testing the high, it tends to come in and make it be in the 0.786 retracement area. So about 80% it retraces. So there's something about when they're testing these highs, there's still so much bullishness. It goes past the 0.618 and goes to 0.786, or in that area, just say 0.80. So anyway, today's action is actually like a spinning top if you follow candlesticks, which this isn't a candlestick chart, but if you follow candlesticks, you can tell just looking at the regular chart that that's a spinning top, which is a bearish bar. Now if we would have a down day tomorrow, there's a good chance that this is coming in as a lower high on the S&P. Again, a new high would not turn me bullish at all, because I think this market is really struggling. It's overdue for, at the very least, a correction, and it's against major resistance. So that's the S&P. I'm just bearish right now. I mean, unless proved otherwise. That's, I could be wrong. Now here against this Qs, this is the NASDAQ ETF. Again, it made the high. That was the high we made a week or so ago. Came down, made that sharp correction, and that's the way they'll do. They'll make the first move down. They always come back up and test. Now we're right at the 0.786 on this, on the Qs, and if this breaks lower from here, this is a lower test high, that would be bearish. That would give me more bearish evidence that the top's in, or coming in, or close. Again, we just got to play it day by day. Amazon, this is one I've been bearish on. If you've been following my other videos, it's making a nice strong rally here this week. But again, we got strong resistance here. We got strong resistance here for Amazon. Even if it comes up and makes a new high, that to me that's just again a good place to be looking for a top to come in. I mean, we don't know how these stocks are going to trade right now. My guess would be this is going to make a lower high. I mean, it already has made a lower high, and this down day tomorrow would just cinch that, and then a break of this low would cinch that lower prices are ahead. So I'm going to be looking at selling most of these in my premium stock newsletter. I'm really being cautious about selling. We're short two stocks right now. One of them is QCOM, and we're short this one. We went short right on this bar here. So we got short on the break of this bar's low on this big down day. Then it did rally against us, and that's why you got to have some room in your trades. And now today it collapsed lower on high volume. So I think we're good on this one. It collapsed down about 3.5. So this is one we're short, but I'm not going to get too many going until we're basically ahead on enough on these to go break even. And the thing is, there's going to be plenty of time to short all these stocks if a top does come in. And the reasoning for that is these markets are really slow at making tops, and there's always going to be pullbacks. So even when they break down, they're going to pull back and give you chances to go short again. So some of these stocks like this one here, CRR, it collapsed today, but the thing is it'll probably come back and try to test that gap. So there's going to be plenty of selling points on all these stocks. The matter of fact, the lower they go, the better they are to sell, because the sellers, once they take over, it just keeps getting a psychological thing. The lower it goes, eventually the faster it'll collapse at the end. Now again, strong volume. Now here's one thing: you might look at this chart and think, oh boy, I missed this move. I missed this one. Of course you never do, because it's going to come back up and test, and there'll be rallies along the way to lower prices. But if you go out, zoom out, and look at a longer term chart, this is a monthly chart. Basically it just came up and made a move down, a move up, and it's probably put in a high here, and it's coming lower. So I mean, when you look at a monthly chart, it shows you that it's not as big a deal as when you look at the daily chart. It looks like, oh my gosh, that's collapsed, I missed it. CSTR, This is when I put out bearish in last couple videos. Looks like it broke the head and shoulders top, broke out. Bulls and bears is on a red down arrow. They come back up and test. This is probably a test of the head and shoulders breakout, and then boom, it'll head lower. So there's going to be all kinds of time to sell this one. Again, I'm not selling anymore until I see the market break lower, or I see both of our stocks get to where we can get them to break even. So even though there's lots of good opportunities here, I'm playing it just, real cautious in my premium stock newsletter right now. Goog, I think Goog has made the first move off the high. This is a 0.618 retracement so far, and like I said, it could come up here and make about a 80% retracement. This is up arrow buy signal for bulls and bears. I think this buy signal just reflects the counter trend rally. Probably going to make a lower high. If Google came up and made a new high, that still would not turn me bullish. That would just be another resistance area that I'd be looking for selling. And again, if everything turns around and everything starts looking bullish, I'll change my mind. But right now, you got to look at what's happening. The major indexes, the S&P and the Qs, are up against major resistance, all-time resistance highs. Well, not on the Qs, but on the S&P. And the big stocks are breaking down. Google's breaking down. Amazon looks like it's at a top. Apple is broken down. So when you see all these big names breaking down, that's a big. I mean, that's a clue. Okay, big name breaking down. What about IBM? Here we go. I mean, when these stocks break down, that's telling you something. Especially when they break down on strong volume. That's telling you the institutions are getting out of stocks. And there's some people think, well, how do you know when a top comes in? Well, when people start selling their stocks and it starts taking over, and then all of a sudden collapse in stocks, that's a good clue that the institutions are turning bearish on this market. Again, nothing's for sure. Now IBM will probably come up here and make a little retracement here. If we throw a fib on here, good chance it could retrace about 50% to 61. So look for 204 on IBM, and then this will probably be a good sell signal. So again, there's going to be all kinds of time to sell these stocks. ID XX, big breakdown, coming back up, testing the gap, and it'll probably slam down again. INTU, that just collapsed today. Look at that. Top came down. Well, really never made a lower high. Minor lower highs. Collapse. Now this one will probably rally back up. It'll come back up and test this break of this trend line here. Well, and again, when it comes up and tests that, testing it doesn't mean it's going to go all the way back up and get right to that trend line. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But a 50% retracement from here, again, put in a Fibonacci on here, and if we get to like a if we get to like a 50% retracement, which is right here the stock is today, 50% retracement would be right there. I mean, then you got to start looking for a sell signal in there. Now here's another thing. I mentioned this on a stock earlier. It looks like, oh my gosh, we missed into it. Go to a monthly chart. That's just breaking out of a wedge pattern on a monthly chart. So this thing is just breaking down. Again, so that's why sometimes it helps to look at the longer term picture. Daily chart, oh my gosh, I missed this move. I can't get in this. There's going to be all kinds of opportunity to go short this stock. MLNX, this is one I showed a week or so ago. I said I thought it was making a lower high here. Again, let's put that fib on there real quick. This is the track and trade software I'm using. And see here, this is interesting right here because I really didn't even plan this out. But if we go here and add this that higher time frame I'm talking about, that 0.786, look at where the top came in on the lower high, 0.786. So on these lower highs, a lot of times they're going to go past the 0.618. And then basically if you would have been watching that, which I was, but we were already in stock, so I didn't want to go into any more. And when they break these trend lines, it's time to give them a try on the short side. That's what we're going to be doing on the premium newsletter. We're going to be selling like crazy once this thing gets going. We bought like crazy on the way up, and we're going to sell like crazy on the way down. And again, I really think the market is at a major top, but it could just be a correction. It could just be a correction. But even a correction, there's going to be some big down moves, and if the market trend is down, we're going to be selling. Okay, now here's one. We are playing ETFs in the premium newsletter, so I think there's a lot of good opportunity in ETFs. This is the cocoa ETF, so you can trade commodities for not as much risk because you can buy shares. NIB is the cocoa ETF. We got long right at 30. That's at 30, almost 32 right now. So we went, I think we did 100 shares, so that's a couple $100. And look at that volume. This thing's going higher, I think. So we're long that one. QCOM, that's the one we're short in the premium newsletter already, and it collapsed today. QIHU, either making a lower high or will come up and make a new high. Either one, I think that's going to be a top for the stock. Either one will be a good place to sell. Again, we don't have to outguess it. We can wait till it makes the turn. We don't sell into strength. Let's put that fib in there again real quick. I wasn't really planning on doing this fib so much, but since we got going with it, and then I got to add that point. Okay, that 0.786, and then let's zoom out on it a little bit here. And now it's above that, but again, it's not going to always come perfect. Fib is just, any support or resistance is just an area. Now tomorrow, if this were to slam down, I would say this area holds. If tomorrow this stock heads higher, then I'd say we're heading for a new high. So that's why you just got to take it day by day. Right now, I wouldn't be surprised if this 0.786 held this area and it slams from here. If it goes up and makes a new high, then that's what we're looking at, a bearish divergence on a new price high, and that's the way stocks make tops. Okay, VAR, big collapse off the high. This is, you see a lot of these head and shoulders topping patterns. There's the move lower, collapse down today. Go to a monthly chart. Look at that. See, it looks like on the daily chart, it looks like, oh my gosh, I missed this move. Monthly chart, double top, triple top, bearish momentum, MACD divergence. It's just breaking down. There's all kinds of opportunity for VAR on the downside. Again, you look at the daily chart, it looks like, man, I missed this stock. This will make a retracement in here, and like I said, we're going to be selling them. Zillow, this one is just, I mean, what more can you say? Look at this. Bearish divergence, this is the way tops come in on stocks. Higher price high, lower MACD momentum reading. When this thing breaks this trend line, this is going to go south. Put a trend line up there. These rising wedges are really bearish patterns, because what you do is you have a top coming in gradually on low momentum, and basically when the top's in, now this is again candlesticks. This would be probably a spinning top here. This is a bearish bar. Again, don't know the exact name of it right off the top of my head here, but see how it's made a narrow range bar and on the new high, and then today's bar is a slam down. That's bearish market action, and this thing is going to head lower. I would just bet on it. I'd still wait till I got an absolute sell signal. I wouldn't try to short it into the high, but this looks like a top here right now on Zillow. So that's a quick review. Hope you find it interesting. Hope you find it profitable. Thanks for listening. Jim with ProfitTraining.com.